Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're all doing well wherever it is you are in the world. I am going to be doing some quick messages for the zodiac signs. I'm going to do some tarot messages for the zodiac signs, and I also want to address each sign and the influences of the Mercury retrograde and the Pluto retrograde that we currently have going on, and how it is most likely going to affect you. Okay, so we'll get right into it. This was supposed to be live, but in true retrograde fashion, too much happened and we weren't able to do it. So moving on, we're going to do some cards for Aries. Mercury is in Aries' third house of communication, social aspects, and it is also transiting, that's too many cards. And then we have Pluto transiting in 10th house for Aries. So that's the house of career, goals, your public image. So there's definitely a big overall influence for Aries in trying to focus on overall career image, I would say. This could also be trying to work diplomatically with others, working in teams, team settings, group settings. I feel like overall energy for this retrograde is going to be busy for most Aries. I do feel that Aries in true nature, they can be sometimes impulsive or assertive, but that's just because they are, tell it how it is, do and then consider consequences after, if then. But we have the Chariot here for you, and we also have the Six of Cups and the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is very much Aries energy. Aries energy can also be very communicative. So for Aries, this retrograde, Mercury specifically is going to influence a lot of your communications, a lot of your technology, a lot in regards to overall influences within your career aspects, or goal oriented. For example, if you're not working, it can be a pursuit of passion, or just overall social groups, your community, how you're viewed in these settings is also important for you. You may want to consider looking back to how you have been in the past. I think specifically this is more in regards to considering how you've learned things in the past, in terms of being diplomatic, and in terms of being patient and trying to keep the peace in those settings. So for Aries, there's definitely an overall big highlight in those influences. So you'll likely, like with all signs, we're all likely to feel a lot of delays, a lot of glitches, a lot of breakdowns, miscommunications. But for Aries specifically, the influence will be more related to your community, your environments, your social aspects. And then, of course, because Pluto's retrograde as well, influencing your 10th house, that can also relate to your overall career, wanting to put emphasis on how you make those approaches and how you maintain those interrelationships within those communities. So definitely for Aries, focus on your goals, try to be more diplomatic, try to be more patient as well, and think long term for sure. I want to move on next to Taurus here. So let me see. Okay, maybe I can write some of these down so don't forget. Okay, so Taurus. That's 5. Whoops. Okay, so Taurus, I feel for many of you, Taurus is all very much likes the groundedness, the stability. Taurus doesn't like when there's big changes and things like that. So this retrograde might actually be a little bit good for you. Overall energy is focusing on your passion, on your callings, maintaining focus for things, for long-term goals. Especially in regards to finances, because Mercury is going to be influencing your second house, which is the house of money, finances, material values, possessions, things that we come into our overall environments as well. And then we have Pluto aspecting your 9th house, which is the house of travel, study, higher education, learning. So this could be that many of you are trying to instill new projects or reevaluate personal passions of yours that are bringing you money, or trying to find out how you can probably marry the two so that you can have those passions and yet make money from it and receive a financial gain and overall stability for that. It does feel like Taurus, leading up to this retrograde, you might be a little too in your head. This may be that you are creating obstacles within. It's definitely feel like this needs to be something that needs to be addressed. You need to, and this is a great time to do that, because retrograde really, it just means that, when Mercury or any planet goes retrograde, it's essentially, it's moving backwards into the houses, right? So it's really, a lot of people get worried, and because all sorts of things start to not work properly. But really, retrograde is all about reevaluating things, reimagining, taking time out, removing yourself from a situation to kind of reflect and see how we can do things differently. And that leads me into your second card, Taurus, which is the 6 of Swords. So there's definitely a teaching lesson or a learning moment here, that you have either just recently experienced or you're going to experience during this retrograde. And it's kind of going to have you reevaluating certain things, in the sense that you are going to consider how you can move forward and do better. Mistakes were made in the past. You might have done something a certain way and it didn't work out for you the way that you wanted, especially financially. You may not be seeing the financial growth, or the finances coming into your life the way that you wanted them to, but that's okay, because again, you're kind of reevaluating, looking at things. Go lay down, please. Thank you. Sorry. Reevaluating things, and taking that time again to reflect. There's definitely overall focus for Taurus, considering your placements, or the placements of these retrograde planets in the charts, and looking at the cards as well. There's definitely reimagining things, fine-tuning things, maybe editing your overall game plan, or you know, trying to figure out new ways to achieve those overall goals that you've set out to achieve, especially ones that have to do with your financial stability. But you know, have patience, you know, balance with temperance as well, you know, pouring water into both cups, making sure that that equilibrium is there. So definitely, again, Taurus, you know, take this retrograde period to your advantage. It is going to be for the month of May, and then I think retrograde for Mercury ends June 5th. Pluto retrogrades for a while, but that's okay. Yeah, so that's what I got for you, Taurus. Definitely, you know, again, focus on those game plans. Focus on reevaluating things, considering a different approach, considering something that that is considering things that you are learning and putting that into fruition in order to achieve that financial stability. Okay, so moving on to Gemini. So Gemini, Mercury is in Gemini, so it is a big influence this time around. You know, Mercury goes retrograde every few months, so it's not something that we are essentially new to. But Mercury in Gemini is in its natural house. They definitely want to and these are also, sorry, I didn't mention, these are also for, consider listening to both your sun and your rising sign. I will put it in the overall post, along with the timestamps for each sign, just to make viewing a little easier. Yeah, okay. So Gemini, for you, this, because Mercury is in its natural house, or its natural placement, there's definitely an overall focus on your way of communicating, and I'm a Gemini as well, so this is something that I have to also consider myself, and that is the speaking or listening before you speak. It is so important, because you know, sometimes we can be impulsive, sometimes we say things without thinking. You know I tend to over talk sometimes. I tend to ramble, you know, or I tend to, you know, sometimes I'll listen to certain situations and, you know, instead of thinking in my head, I say it out loud. So for Geminis, because Mercury is in the first house, this is self-expression, your identity. It is you encompassed, right? So definitely take that time to, you know, listen, speak intentionally. Don't be verbal diarrhea everywhere all the time. Also expect delays, expect hurdles and things to kind of just break down. You know, I had my stand break down. I can't use it anymore. So I'm improvising a whole setup here, hoping, you know, nothing moves, and you know, improvise, adjust, you know, expect those delays, expect that there will be obstacles, that there will be ups and downs, that, you know, that there will be miscommunications, that, you know, that you can expect there to be glitches with your technology. You know, save, back up your things, plan for extra time. This is really important because, you know, Gemini, sometimes we go. We're all air, right? So we go, but definitely take that extra time. Take that extra time for you, you know. Focus on your passions during this retrograde. Focus on your passions, things that that bring you creative outlets, you know, whatever your inner calling is. I know for myself, this is definitely anything artsy, anything creative, and taking that time out of my regular day-to-day hustle and bustle to focus on those passions, to focus on things that bring life to me, or, you know, instill that overall joy in my life. There's definitely Page of Pentacles as well, trying to keep busy, trying to manage different things. Perhaps there is also a focus on money. Let me see what house. Pluto's in 8th house. So Pluto is in Gemini's 8th house, which is the house of property, sex, intimacy. So there will definitely be likely some highlights there as well, or overall focus on how to manage these different aspects of your life. So, and again, Page of Pentacles is this. Yeah, no, Page of Pentacles can also relate to not just finances, but property, things that come into your life. You know, I mean, it is Gemini season 2, so many of us are gonna have birthdays. So happy birthday to Geminis ahead of time. I'm sorry if I missed you, but that is definitely overall it is for Geminis. Speak intentionally, listen, listen quietly. There's definitely, yeah, overall energy is, you know, bring that focus back to yourself, to your passions, and then in social settings, definitely try to be more intentional. You know, again, I can't reiterate that more, to, you know, think before you speak, you know, or think before you do, and that's very much for everyone in retrograde, but specifically Geminis as well, because they will feel that influence pretty heavily, so just take that into consideration. Okay, how are we for time? Okay, so we got Cancers next. So Cancer, Mercury is going to be in your 12th house, which is your house of spirituality. Your overall card, or background energy for this retrograde is the Strength. You know, and I think of my Cancer people, and I actually know a Cancer that has Strength as their life path, which is true, which is very fitting for this. Yeah, so Cancers, you have Mercury in your 12th house, which is, your 12th house is the house of spirituality. It's the house of unknown. It's mysteries. It's also healing. It's also definitely a healing house, and with the cards that I pull, I do very much feel that this is taking time to go inwards, to reevaluate your healing, to take that time to really sink into it, because we have Pluto in the 7th house as well, which is the house of relationships. It's the house of sharing. You know, it's those interrelationships we have with others, our social groups, but it's very much sharing. So Cancers, I feel like many of you may be creating an overall imprisoned in your own minds, in your own self, which, you know, Cancers tend to retreat into their shell when their environments get too overwhelming or it gets too difficult, and that's very understandable, but sometimes we need to face these struggles. We need to face these demons head on, and address them, and that's where this card comes in. It's the Three of Wands, focusing on the fact that, you know, I'm going to go through this period of healing. It's going to be difficult. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go through this period of healing. I'm going to reflect on my relationships with other. I'm going to share my feelings, because this is both a time to go inwards for that healing, but also a time to reach out to others. You might find it easier to again, reach out to your friends, reach out to your you know, your social groups, your relationships that you have, and, you know, kind of bask in, I guess, bask in that love that others can give you when it comes to support. And it may feel like you may not have as many supports or as much supports as you like, but you'd be surprised, because we also have the Star here, and with the Strength as your overall energy, it is definitely a reminder to, again, step out of your shell, you know, musk up that inner strength of yourself, you know, speak for you, trust your instincts, and allow yourself to be true, allow yourself to be seen, right? Let others see you. You know, as difficult as your journey has been, or as difficult as it may currently feel, there is hope and there is light at the end. You know, you can see this woman, she's looking forward to the future, because she recognizes that, you know, there's better out there. There's hope. There's that personal achievement, that we can have from that healing. We just need to muster up that inner strength, you know. So if you look at this card, you can see that there's actually a duality when it comes to the strength. There is the quiet inner strength, and then there's the outspoken, strong strength that comes from this card, and it's definitely a combination of the two, and recognizing not only that you're capable of both, but you need to utilize them. You need to utilize your strength, trust your instincts, trust that intuition, and allow yourself to really move into that healing moment. Again, it is going to be for most of May. I know many of us have been feeling this retrograde period probably sooner. I've been feeling it since April. I've been feeling it since April, but that's okay, because we go with the flow, and we allow for things to unfold as they need to, you know. We anticipate the hurdles, and we, you know, when they come, we just adjust, and that is the best thing we can do, you know. It's going to be difficult. That's not a surprise or anything, but okay, so Leos are next. Whoops, that's too many cards. Leos. So Leo, Mercury is in your 11th house, which is the house of causes, house of network, future relationships or futures. It's also groups, overall. I guess you could say kind of like justice, like justifiable causes, standing up for things that you believe in. And then we also have Leo being influenced by Pluto, which is in your 6th house, which is the house of health. It's also the house of, that's fitting. We're going to take these 3. It's also the house of, the house of habits, routine, organization, fitness, there's definitely, so we have the double card here. So there's definitely going to be an overall theme here of many Leos kind of reevaluating their habits. And not just habits, but their routines, influences, their networks, causes that they want to participate in. Is going to be more goal-oriented for Leos here. Yeah, it's definitely going to be more goal-oriented. There is an overall energy for Leos, which is the 9 of Cups here, which is reminding you that, you have so much to be thankful for, but you do need to take time to reflect, and consider anything that doesn't serve you. This could be something as simple as, drinking too much coffee and wanting to, for example, drink more water, or trying to incorporate more healthy eatings. This could also be in regards to, for example, if we consider networks and causes, this could be in regards to, standing up for things that you feel are justifiable, standing up for a cause that you feel you want to work towards. There's definitely overall confidence in how you're moving during this retrograde season. Whatever it is, it's definitely a calling, Leo. It's definitely a calling, because we have the Judgment as overall energy here. So I'm not surprised that perhaps many of you might be considering or even reconsidering your role in certain situations. So for example, if you volunteer, or if you're looking to volunteer, this may be something that you want to work towards. And with that Knight, there's definitely a plan, there's definitely a goal. It's just kind of working towards it now. So this retrograde season can really be highlighting that aspect for you, where you want to go, how you want to make these changes, reevaluating all those different things in your life. Again, as simple as, like day-to-day habits or routines, or even more complex as to, your overall role in society, in your causes and things that matter to you. If you're an environmentalist, it's definitely probably a big thing for you as well. Any causes that you yourself are passionate about. Again, with that Judgment, that inner calling, there's definitely a focus there. Okay, so that was for Leos. I want to move on to Virgos, because we're already at half an hour. Don't want to make this too long. Don't want my video to disappear. That has happened. Okay, so Virgos, Mercury is going to be in your 10th house, which is your house of career. It's also your reputation, how you're viewed, your overall standings. And let's clarify that. Whoops, that's far too many. Far too many. Yeah, so in your house of career. And then we have Pluto in the 5th house. Okay. Pluto in the 5th house. And we have the Emperor as the overall background energy. So Pluto 5th house is the house of romance, house of creativity, also overall self-expression, which actually bodes really well with these two queens here, which we will get into. So for Virgos, I feel there's going to be a lot of influences in overall career aspects. I feel that if you are in a position to help others, you should help others. This is definitely a give and take energy here, the 6 of Pentacles. But I feel that if you are in need of help, you need to reach out to others. You need to communicate that. You need to let others know. We also have the Knight and Queen of Swords here. So we have the pair, and they are definitely both sit in their own element, confident, communicative. Virgo likes to be organized, likes to have doesn't like chaos. So this could be a little bit of a difficult time for Virgos, especially when it comes to expressing yourself or how you go about expressing yourself within these situations. So within your career, within your relationships of career, with your romance, with your love interest, there is the focus is more on the Queen of Pentacles here, and the overall Emperor energy here, which is telling me that, as difficult as these hurdles may be, because I do feel that it's going to be more miscommunications here that are coming up for Virgos, because we do have the two swords and then the 2 pentacles. So communication, and anything that is focused on finances, but again, also related to love. But I feel that for Virgos, it's overall going to be a lot of miscommunications. So definitely consider how you're expressing yourself during this retrograde season, Virgo. Really consider your words. Speak intentionally. As confident as you may be in your opinions and in your goals and your vision of how you want certain things, you also need to be considerate of how you communicate that to others, how you express that to others, and how you go about it overall. There needs to be a release of control here during this retrograde season, which I know for many Virgos may be a little bit difficult, again, because there is a need to want to have things be a certain way. Yes, so definitely for Virgos, focus on how you're expressing yourself. Focus on how you're speaking and how you want to communicate. There's that, what's that proverb? I can't remember. Treat others the way you would like to be treated, and in this context, we can even switch that to be like, speak to others the way you would like to be spoken to, because the King and the Queen of Swords, they're very intellectual. They know how to speak, they know how to communicate, but sometimes they can be a little sharp with their words. They can say things that may feel a little belittling. They can say things that that hurt a little bit, or you know, and it's not always intentional. It's just the way, again, the way you express yourself and the way you communicate. So definitely take that into consideration, Virgos, especially during this retrograde season. Make sure that you are expressing yourself intentionally, or at least, or at least considering your words prior to expressing them. Okay, so we want to move on to Libras here. Mercury is transiting Libra's 9th house, which is the house of travel. It's also the house of higher education, philosophy, learning new things. And then we have Pluto, who is in Libra's 4th house, the house of home, overall roots. One more card for Libra, please. Oh, it's too many. But we will take these. Okay. And strength for Libras too. This makes me think of my Libra people. Okay, so Libras, there's definitely a focus here with home, with considering family life, considering roots, considering how things are going at home, and how those interrelationships are functioning. There's also a need to there's also an overall a desire here where you might feel you need to take some time out to truly reflect on those situations, on your home life, on your overall life, perhaps taking more of a philosophical approach as to how these are functioning, and whether or not it's positive or negative influences in your life, and whether or not you need to make adjustments here. So this could be, just little things in home life, perhaps too many people under one roof, or perhaps people not getting along together. Overall though, there's a big emphasis at looking at the bigger picture and reflecting on certain things here that have to do with your home life. You may also be considering travel, or learning new things here, Libras. Do plan for extra time during retrograde if you want to travel anywhere. I cannot stress that enough. Because delays, traffic jams, accidents, all these things are very likely to happen during retrograde season, and because Mercury is influencing that ninth house of travel, definitely take some extra time for that. There's overall hope here for Libras. I do feel that you are going to be busy during this season, or you might be feeling overall busy, just like doing too much, or doing one thing here, doing another thing here. So try to slow down. Again, with that travel, there's that hustle and bustle, trying to move around, get things done, but try to slow down. You may need to take some time to have some introspection here, but overall I do feel that if you're currently feeling like there are struggles at home, or just struggles in general that you're dealing with during this retrograde season, I do see you coming out on top. It is going to be somewhat of a battle, but you are going to come out on top and have things really fall into place for you a little bit better. And then again, with the Strength card as your overall card, Libras, there's definitely a desire to, or not so much a desire, but a reminder to speak for yourself, to muster up that inner strength and know when to use it. You know, don't let others push you around. And definitely consider looking at the bigger picture and having that period of self-reflection so that you can consider how you want to move forward, especially in aspects of family life, home life, and education as well. So if you're considering you know, studying or learning something new, now would be a good time to reflect on how you want to go about that. So definitely take that into consideration, Libras. I'm going to move on to Scorpios here. Okay, so Scorpios, Mercury is in your 8th house, which is the house of intimacy. It's the house of sex, bonds, properties, mystery as well. And which is a natural house. Okay, so we have the 8th house, Mercury in 8th house, and Pluto in your 3rd house. 3rd house. Yeah, so house of communication, house of your overall mind, your overall interest, and that bodes very well with this card here. Yeah, overall energy for Scorpios is the Hermit card. So you might be taking time to consider a new project. I feel that for many Scorpios here, there's kind of like a learning curve or a learning process here that you are trying to achieve. I do feel also as well, we have the Eight of Cups here, telling me that you're trying to move forward with a better vision. There's something here that you're passionate about. I feel like this might be a financial goal. But considering the houses and how they're affecting you, it definitely feels like a lot of Scorpios during this retrograde season might be taking time to let go and release, again, what no longer serves you, taking that time to heal, and communicate even, communicate with others, those limitations, those secrets, those bonds that have been holding you back. There's so much healing and community that, you know, that we can access. We just need to be vulnerable and allow ourselves to integrate into those settings, right? You know, again, that's that feeling of those soul families, those soul bonds, you know, so definitely take time, Scorpios, for yourself during this season, to not only focus on those goals that you want, that recognition, those finances that you want to come in, but focus on your healing. Focus on your healing, releasing and letting go. You know, sometimes the best thing we can do is talk to a friend and explain to them, you know, the things that we're going through. You know, and that said friend, they may not be able to help anything or really do much, but they can listen, and in that comes a lot of healing. So definitely consider that during this retrograde season. Try to bring that communication and that healing journey into your life a little more a little more openly. So for Scorpios, definitely allow yourself to heal. Allow yourself to heal. You know, Scorpios are known for being mysterious and sometimes reclusive, you know, because they keep a lot within. And that's where this retrograde is coming in, you know, giving you that strength to reach out, speak to someone, share your hurt, share your healing. You know, be true to who you are at the end of the day. Sagittarius, we're gonna move on to Sagittarius here. Okay, Sagittarius is ouch. So Sagittarius, you have Mercury in your 7th house and you have Pluto in your 2nd house. So 7th house is the house of relationships. Hold on, it's the house of relationships. It's usually your partner's marriage, contracts that you might have. One more for Sag. Oops. Okay. Sagittarius. Okay, so yeah, so Sag, you have this season may have you feeling a little down. You might experience more than your fair share of grief, overall disappointment and heartaches, because this Mercury is transiting your house of relationships. There may be endings here that come through, especially with these two cards. There may also be Mercury is famous for exes coming back into your life, you know, trying to reestablish, reconnect, you know, because retrogrades are all about, you know, reestablishing, redirection, reconnecting, reconsiderations, all the ways you can think of. There's definitely some overall heartache. Your background energy for this season is definitely trying to learn from your mistakes. I feel that you are now more reconsidering your priorities, because this retrograde season, especially in regards to relationships, in regards to your work ethic, your money, and your finances, there's definitely a desire to build better relations, a desire to reconsider your approach to how you're doing things, reconsider your priorities as well. We have the Knight of Wands here, so there's definitely a kind of like a slow progression, you know, being more mindful, being more deliberate of how you want to access these energies, or more deliberate of how you want others to, or who you want to access your energy, you know, having higher standards, you know, again, learning from those mistakes and moving forward with a clear head on your shoulders. So as difficult as this retrograde season may be impacting not only your love life, but also impacting your money, your work, and your overall finances, definitely trying to shift that focus and focus on building solid foundations, solid work relationships, solid partnerships, you know, because that's definitely the focus here for Sagittarius, is considering your priorities and how you want to move forward, how you want those to be seen in your overall life. So definitely bring that focus in to that. Okay, Sagittarius. So next we have Capricorn. Wow. Capricorns too. Okay. Caps, you gotta stop being so hard on yourself. My goodness. Let's get one more for Capricorns here. And let's clarify that 8. I love it. Beautiful. And background energy for Capricorns is the Emperor. So Caps, this Mercury is going to is orbiting your 6th house. So this is the house of health, the house of fitness, habits, routines, all that fun stuff. So there may be a desire to approach things differently here for you during this retrograde season. There is an overall, we have the 8 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. We have 2 8s actually. The 8 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. So I feel a lot of you are really stuck in your own heads. I feel many of you may be struggling with overall disappointments in your life. Things aren't going the way you had expected or the way you wanted them to, and this season is it's likely going to bring that down. It's gonna make that a little heavier for you to acknowledge, because it's going to have you second guessing certain situations. There's definitely towards the end we have the 8 of Cups and we have the Star card, which is a beautiful energy to move into, but there's definitely a need to slow down during this retrograde season. Slow down, Capricorns. Be creative. Go back to basics. Take time for yourself to do something for you. Caps are so focused on their finances, on their work, on their progress. They're very goal oriented, very direct, very forward movement, and that's great to have. But again, retrograde season, we are moving backwards. It's bringing that all back in. So instead of resisting, Capricorns, try to go with the flow, try to slow down a little bit, take things day by day, which again, easier said than done, because Caps like to have those goals. They need to have an idea forward, like I'm going to do this and this and that, and that's how it is. But again, try to reel that back in, try to have a more day-to-day approach during this retrograde season. And try to consider that, sometimes things happen, but you have a clear idea of where you want to move forward and how you want to move forward. You just gotta keep moving. You just gotta keep going. The Star card is here reminding you to have faith in yourself. The Emperor's here as well, reminding you that you have control over your situation. You just may need to adjust the way that you go about certain things, or adjust the way that you do things, from how you regularly do things versus how you do things now during retrograde season. So definitely take that into consideration. Pluto is going to be Pluto's in 1st house for Capricorns, so that's definitely overall like identity, self-expression. So again, and Pluto's very slow moving, so again, try to take that time to slow down, take things day by day. don't force things or don't try to control things to happen a certain way. You know, you just need to kind of allow it to happen, and take priority of your health as well, Capricorns. You might be feeling a little more tired than usual, or you might be feeling that you need to reassess certain habits at home. So definitely take time to reevaluate those things, and how you want to move forward, especially during this retrograde season. Okay, so next we have Aquarius. That's too many cards. Aquarius. And Mercury is in, whoops, that's too many cards. Mercury is in 5th house. 5th house? Yeah, I wrote down. 5th house for Aquarius, which is your house of love, creativity, romance. So Aquarius, you might, wow, that's coming out a lot, eh? Let's clarify that 3. Let's clarify that 3, please. Okay. And then Pluto is in your 12th house, which is your house of healing. It's the house of endings. It's also karma, a mystery, the unknown. Okay. Aquarius, is your overall energy here is the 9 of Swords, which I feel this is going to be more towards the end of retrograde seasons for many of you, where you're feeling more in your heads, like you are concerned about certain situations, or you're not able to sleep well. Sleepless nights comes from that card as well. There is an overall energy here, where I feel like you have a vision, and you have an idea of how you want to move forward and how you want to achieve these visions. However, I feel that you might come across a little bit of some disappointment, overall obstacles that might come through. This could also be an ending. I don't feel that it's going to be for many Aquariuses, but I do feel for some Aquariuses, there could be an ending coming into your life in one manner or another. So definitely have faith. Keep faith for yourself with the Fool. Maintain that focus, heal through creative expressions, especially during this retrograde season. You might be faced with some difficulties. It's definitely going to highlight your house of love and your house of romance. So there's going to be a lot of overall emphasis on how you express yourself in this regards. You, like I said, you already have an idea of how you want to do certain things, but again, try not to be so rigid. Try to be adjustable, because again, things may not happen the way you expected them to. You might face some hurdles throughout, and this again can bring that overall sleeplessness, or inability to sleep, and difficulties with kind of trying to ease the mind, so that you can relax. So during this retrograde season, Aquarius, is for you, I would definitely say to take some time to not only reflect, but take some time to heal through creative expressions. This could be journaling, this could be art, this could be taking your loved ones on on an adventure, or or cooking them something, just the way that you yourself creatively express yourself, your love language as well. So take time to heal through that, and allow that process, to really sit in. I feel like many of you may be coming from a certain past where it felt difficult, or you felt like, perhaps certain things weren't achievable for you. But now there's definitely a switch. So take time to heal, Aquarius. Take time to bring love back into your life, not only for love of others, but love for self. So for example, if you're not in a relationship, take time to love yourself. Take yourself out on a date. Go out for dinner, buy yourself a gift. Spoil yourself a little bit. Take that time to really acknowledge, I guess, endings that have come into your life and how they're switching. So take that time to reflect on those cycles, and how they've influenced you as well during this season and outside of the retrograde season. Okay, and last but not least, we have Pisces. Okay, Pisces. So Pisces, Mercury is in your 4th house, which is the house of home, roots, family. It's the house of self-care as well. Pisces, I do feel, if I'm not mistaken, I do think that you are one of the signs that will likely feel this retrograde more intensely. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Pisces, Libra, Geminis are going to feel it. I'm going to say Sagittarius is, and maybe even Virgos. And let's clarify that. There's too many. Let's clarify that 10 of Swords here. One more, please. Whoops. The Emperor. Perfect. Okay. Pisces, right off the bat, I feel like you are being way too hard on yourself. You got to get back to your roots. You got to get back to your foundation. Your overall energy was the 10 of Cups. Again, that foundation, that stability, that comfort, that union, that home life, which is definitely where this retrograde is highlighting. It's highlighting your home life. It's highlighting your roots, how your self-care. How are you doing these things? These are all things that you need to consider. Are you happy with your family life, with your roots, with how things are progressing in these aspects? Are you taking on too much? Because then we have Pluto, which is in the 11th house, which is the house of groups, the house of friendships, social settings, your future, your networks, your causes. So if there's something that you want to achieve, or you want to stand for, specifically in terms of causes, now would be a good time to take that time to reflect and consider, is this something that aligns with who I am? Is this something that is going to be good for my soul? I do feel like you're too hard on yourself, Pisces, way too hard on yourself. you know, and Pisces is water. You are emotional, you know, last in the zodiac calendar, but that's okay, because, you know, and sometimes we need to express those emotions. You know, we can't always keep them bottled up, but we can't allow them to overwhelm us either. And that's where that fine line comes in, right, Pisces? I feel like you need to be reminded to have faith in yourself. Have faith in yourself in the direction that you're moving in. It might feel like you know, things aren't exactly where you want them to be, and now you're starting to doubt things. You know, you might be bringing in doubt, you might be bringing in overall concerns, and really second guessing yourself here. But don't second guess yourself, because you have victory, and you have this emperor here who is in complete control. You know, the emperor stands on top of the world. He knows where he wants to go, he knows where he wants to be, he knows who he is. He's very comfortable in his own skin. He takes the advice of those around him. You can see, you know, the crow on top, and as much as, you know, he might listen to these things, at the end of the day, he's trusting himself. He's following his intuition. He's having that blind faith in how he wants to move forward, and he is going to achieve this victory, this personal achievement, this overall self-fulfillment that's going to help bring in this stability, this foundation. So definitely, again, for Pisces, try not to be too hard on yourself during this retrograde season. Don't allow your emotions to overrule you. Try to bring some more self-reflection into your life. Really try to navigate whether or not you feel aligned with how things are moving in life. Are you taking on too much? You know, are you taking on more than you can handle? Are you taking time for yourself? You know, get back to those roots, get back to self. Focus on your self-care, on those family connections, on, you know, what feels like home. You know, a lot of times we have this idea of home being, you know, the nuclear family, but home can be so many different things, you know. So definitely take time to consider that, Pisces, during this retrograde season. That is my overall outlook for all the signs. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Wherever you're watching it, please make sure to like, comment, follow, and or subscribe, as I'm going to try to put out more regular content, especially for the zodiacs, along with my free general readings. But I am available for personals if you ever want a personal reading. I'm also starting to do astrology write-outs or composite for individuals to kind of have an idea of what your big three are: your sun, your moon, your rising sign, how they might be influencing you in your life, and then also an overall outlook of the other planets, what signs they're in, what houses they're in, and how they might be affecting you in your everyday, day-to-day life. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check that out in my on my website, and or reach out to me personally. You can email me or message me. I try to get back to everyone as best I can. Okay, so I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever it is you are in the world. And I hope that these messages resonated with you, and that you can use them as a way to manage this retrograde season a little bit easier. Take care. Bye.